chief doctor tells MMR critics you're playing Russian roulette. Taliban prisoners get Geneva Convention in a US U-turn. More strike misery, postal workers vote for action. And why the prince stayed at this bed and breakfast.
The ITV News at 10 with Trevor MacDonald.
Good evening. The Chief Medical Officer, Sir Liam Donaldson, today launched stage 2 of the government's campaign to convince parents that MMR, the triple vaccine for measles, mumps and rubella, is safe. He said the facts were overwhelmingly in its favour. Appearing with senior doctors and nurses, Sir Liam said going for single vaccines would be playing Russian roulette with our children's health. Lawrence McGuinty reports.
It was a press conference out of the ordinary. The government's chief medical officer, Professor Sir Liam Donaldson, flanked by the top brass of the medical profession, determined to mount a devastating frontal assault on the critics of the MMR vaccine. 90 other countries use it. Why, he demanded, should we abandon MMR?
We'd be out on a limb compared to 90 other countries. We would literally be playing Russian roulette with our children's health.
Afterwards, I asked him the key questions in every parent's mind. First, why is MMR necessary if the diseases concerned are so mild?
They are not mild diseases. Both measles, mumps and rubella have very serious side effects. They can cause death, brain damage and many other complications as well.
But why is he so convinced MMR is safe?
It's been in use for 30 years in 90 countries of the world. Millions of children have been injected with the vaccine and hundreds of thousands of lives have been saved by it.
Even so, why not give parents the choice of single vaccinations?
What we would see would be a major fall in uptake of vaccines to very low levels.
Despite those warnings, parents like Iona Leishman are flocking to have single measles jabs.
There's a girl. All done.
Clinics that offer single jabs are inundated. And doctors there hotly deny that they're playing Russian roulette with children's health.
In actual fact, all I'm doing is offering parents a sensible alternative so that they can get their children vaccinated in a safe and proven way. Whatever the government says, measles and rubella vaccines have been around for many years.
Another case of measles was confirmed today at this school in London. 11 more suspected cases were reported.
Despite a passionate defence of the MMR vaccine by the government and the medical establishment, a significant minority of parents are still choosing single vaccination. Indeed, in some centres, supplies of single vaccines are running out. The government still faces an uphill task to reach the levels of vaccination it considers necessary to protect children. Lawrence McGuinty, ITV News in London.
President Bush backtracked tonight on the status of at least some of America's captives from the fighting in Afghanistan. The White House said soldiers of the old Taliban regime would now be granted all the legal protection of the Geneva Conventions. But that would still not apply to al-Qaeda fighters. Here's our Washington correspondent, Robert Moore.
This afternoon, a further 28 Taliban and al-Qaeda prisoners arrived from Afghanistan, wearing orange jumpsuits, goggles and shackles. President Bush has now decided the Geneva Conventions will be applied to the Taliban captives, even though the White House has said it does not regard them technically as prisoners of war. Al-Qaeda prisoners will not receive such protection. They are described as stateless terrorists, not as regular combatants.
And President Bush today has decided that the Geneva Convention will apply to the Taliban detainees, but not to the al-Qaeda international terrorists.
US officials are reported as saying that stretchers are used to move the prisoners as a psychological tactic to lessen their sense of being in control. 186 captives are now in Guantanamo Bay, being questioned inside these wooden huts by CIA, FBI and military interrogators.
We are stripped and scarred, O Lord.
President Bush in Washington today joined congressional leaders in prayer. He's been warned by the CIA that al-Qaeda is still seeking to launch another large-scale attack on the United States. US officials are refusing to comment on the intelligence value of the interrogations underway. But some of the younger prisoners are reported to be cooperating, which may be important as the trail leading to Osama bin Laden and the other al-Qaeda leaders appears to have gone cold. Robert Moore, ITV News, Washington.
Immigrants wanting British citizenship will have to pass an English test and swear a new oath of allegiance, under proposals today from the Home Secretary David Blunkett. He's also planning a crackdown on illegal immigration and anyone who traffics in asylum seekers. But there'll be a fast-track entry system for people with the skills this country needs. John Ray reports.
They are ambitious and wide-ranging reforms from the Home Secretary. They are also a sign the government admits past efforts to fix Britain's immigration rules have failed. In the Commons, Mr Blunkett said he wanted a system that was tough but fair.
By doing this, we can create a country that is open to skills and enterprise, but not to exploitation. This is a Britain with a balanced approach to nationality and migration.
Together, Mr Blunkett's proposals add up to a thorough shake-up of immigration and asylum policy. To gain British citizenship, applicants will have to take English tests and learn about British customs and laws. They'll also have to swear an oath of allegiance. Mr Blunkett plans to speed up the asylum system with stricter rules on appeals, while the controversial voucher system is to be replaced by cash payments. But he wants to make it easier for some to come to Britain. Those with certain skills will be allowed to work, and there'll be a crackdown on illegal working. Perhaps most controversially, Mr Blunkett also says arranged marriages should be made within the UK rather than from the Indian subcontinent.
You can't put guidelines down for people and say, this is a group you've got to get married out of. I'm sure that's now how it worked out for Mr Blunkett when he got married.
Furki Islami fled Kosovo after his father was killed, but the asylum system is slow. His claim has taken 2 years, and he admits many come here just to find work.
Some people think for money, some people for business. Some businesses shop or, well, some.
The good life.
Yeah.
These foreign nurses are re-qualifying to work in Britain, one of the skills gaps the government wants to plug.
Would you raise your right hand and repeat after me?
Those who might eventually claim British nationality could have US-style citizenship ceremonies, but critics say that's at odds with the use of detention centres for refugees.
If you want people to feel integrated into this society, it's not what you teach them, it's how you treat them that counts.
Here, all sides are trying to cool the temperature on what has often been a heated immigration debate. Much of what's on offer has been broadly welcomed, but Mr Blunkett may yet find, like so many of his predecessors, change is easier to promise than to deliver. John Ray, ITV News, Westminster.
A man was arrested in Northern Ireland today in connection with last year's bombings in London and Birmingham. The explosion near the BBC headquarters was one of a series of attacks linked to the real IRA. The suspect is being questioned at the London police station tonight. Another public service strike was threatened today when Royal Mail workers voted for industrial action over pay. A national postal strike, if it happens, would be the first for 6 years. Consignia, which is about to face more competition anyway, said it would be catastrophic. Caroline Kerr reports.
Postal workers want a 5% pay increase. They were offered 2. Today they decided it was worth striking over. A series of one-day strikes could now start in a fortnight's time. In a statement, the Royal Mail, which is now known as Consignia, said, "A strike would be a catastrophe for us all. We simply cannot afford it. There are already rival companies on the market planning to capitalise on a strike. They will be the only winners." The truth is Consignia is currently losing £1 million a day and is about to lose its monopoly too. So why is the union planning a strike now?
We don't want a strike. However, the Consignia board must understand this is a strong mandate from our members, their workforce. They want a reasonable settlement. They want to move the industry forward, and hopefully we can do that over the next couple of weeks.
Consumer groups are outraged at the prospect of industrial action.
Nobody strikes anymore except in the postal services and apparently now and again in the railway industry. This doesn't get anybody anywhere. Consumers always lose out, and that's not fair.
Although there were a lot more strikes a generation ago, in recent months there has been a worrying resurgence in industrial action. So far, the government has steadfastly refused to become involved in any of the disputes on the railways. And tonight, despite owning the post office, the government seems equally unwilling to intervene in this dispute. Caroline Kerr, ITV News, Central London.
Problems may be piling up at home, but the Prime Minister is making no apologies for his visit to West Africa. It started in Nigeria, where Mr. Blair said helping to resolve Africa's woes was a down payment on a decent future for us all. Tonight, he's in Ghana. John Sargent is travelling with him.
In Nigeria, the military tradition bequeathed by Britain is alive and well. It was fit and polished for the Prime Minister and a genuinely warm welcome. But he brought a grim message. In a speech to the Nigerian Parliament, he argued that the rich nations of the world can't afford to ignore the terrible problems of Africa. The lesson of September the 11th was that failed states, like Afghanistan, breed terror and religious fanaticism.
The threats of weapons of mass destruction, religious fanaticism and terror can't be escaped. There is no leafy suburb far from the reach of bad things and bad people.
Tonight, Mr. Blair arrived in Ghana. He's due in Senegal and Sierra Leone before returning to London on Sunday evening. He's not promising dramatic results. At least he wants to be able to say he tried.
The Prime Minister is determined to push the plight of Africa up the political agenda. He believes it's morally right and of practical benefit to Britain. But he's also aware that critics will continue to argue that he's wasting his time here, and he'd be better off at home where he can make a real difference. John Sargent, ITV News, Accra, Ghana.
The Prime Minister's trip to Africa. We're taking a short break now, but coming next on News at 10, Damilola trial, what the prosecution's key witness said. Nick Leeson on the motives of the new rogue trader. Then why was Prince Charles on holiday in Cumbria? We'll have all that and news from your area when we come back.
Some women are born with beautiful, gorgeous, full lips, but most of us need all the help we can get. I'm Michelle Burke. I've just completed the makeup for Vanilla Sky. Now Max Factor has the answer. New Hyper Full Lipstick.
New Hyper Full Lipstick with Vital Age boosters designed to plump up lips.
Instantly plumper lips. Amazing. And to think that we can do that just with a lipstick. Fuller lips, more beautiful, more youthful looking. This is great stuff.
New Hyper Full Lipstick from Max Factor, the makeup of makeup artists.
Hey.
Hi.
Is this shop new?
2 hours, 15 minutes and 30 seconds old. Congratulations. You're my, sixth customer.
Cabbage. Well, you won't get rich giving things away.
Nah, I've got Lloyd's behind me.
Lloyd? Is he your partner?
No. No. Lloyd's TSB. They helped me set up the shop, and they show me how to get more customers.
Thanks.
Pop by any time. Soon.
Lloyd's TSB offers a unique package of real business solutions to help your business succeed.
At MFI, it's your last chance to save up to 50% with an extra 20% off all sale prices.
Hey!
I know. Get the car out.
I bought the new Suzuki Liana for me, but some people think it's theirs. At least I get to enjoy the 1.6-litre fuel-injected engine, while everyone else makes use of the generous luggage space. And with its amazing headroom, it takes even the most awkward loads. The new Suzuki Liana from $9,995.
The Suzuki car range from just $4,995. For your local Suzuki dealer, visit suzuki.co.uk.
Sorry, I'm late.
No problem.
Pascal, 2 cartes noires. Carte noire? What's that?
In France, it's our favorite coffee. It's so smooth.
Intense. Irresistible. And, so aromatic.
Aromatic?
Yes, the carte noire.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Carte Noire, French for coffee.
This Saturday
Saturday inside every copy of the Daily Star, we're giving away 7 of the best new dance tracks on a cover-mounted CD, absolutely free for every reader. Plus, get all your World Cup heroes with the Daily Star sensational free stickers. Get your Daily Star Magnificent 7 CD and World Cup hero stickers absolutely free.
Full English breakfast, a choice of newspaper, and unlimited tea and coffee. Travel First Premier with Midland Main Line. It's just like getting breakfast in bed.
Holiday on Ice presents its incredible new show, Colours of Dance, at the National Ice Centre, Nottingham. Book your tickets now for a memorable family experience.
This is the power of television. To get on TV, get on the phone.
Lloyds TSB's unique new prospect finder helps you find more customers. For more information, call 0800 068 0000.
Welcome back. The jury in the Damilola Taylor murder trial were today shown more videos of police interviews with the girl who is the key prosecution witness. In them, she talks about the £50,000 reward money. Shuri Ghosh was in court.
A difficult day for Richard Taylor as he heard more details of his son's death during taped police interviews played to the court. Damilola was stabbed 15 months ago. 4 youths aged 14 to 17 deny his murder. The key witness, a young girl, says she saw the attack, which took place on a Peckham estate. But the defence teams representing the accused youths say she's a liar, influenced by promises of reward money. In the interviews played to the court, she gives 3 different stories. In one video, a conversation takes place between her and the adult assigned to safeguard her welfare. The girl remarks, "They still got to give me some money for wasting my time." The adult says, "Wasting your time?" "My time and your time," replies the girl. "Just give me the 50 grand. Gimme, 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 gimme." In another exchange, she says, "I got told I could take some of the money now, you know." "What money?" "From the police." "But why? You're not telling them the story for the £50,000, are you?" The witness smiled. At one point, the interviewing police officer tells the girl the money is more guaranteed if she's able to say she saw the incident rather than hearing about it second-hand. Shortly after that, the girl changes her story again. She'll be back in the witness stand tomorrow for more cross-examination. Shuri Ghosh, ITV News, at the Old Bailey.
John Rusnak, the foreign exchange dealer who disappeared from view shortly after more than £500 million of his bank's money went missing, said through his lawyer in America today he isn't a thief. He's also denied running away. Juliet Bremner is following the story.
At the home of the Baltimore trader accused of losing more than £500 million, the shutters stayed firmly closed today. But John Rusnak was understood to be inside with his wife and children, protesting his innocence. His lawyer says he denies the allegations of fraud and believes he can clear his name.
Mr. Rusnak is not a thief. I think that there will not be, as has been reported, $750 million found missing.
All First is trying to discover whether anyone else was involved in the huge losses, which have left both staff and investors reeling.
It doesn't make any sense how they didn't notice it and didn't let him get away with it. I think they should really seriously look for that guy and get their revenge.
The scandal's a sharp reminder of the fraud carried out by Nick Leeson that led to the collapse of Barings Bank. Despite the similarities, though, he told me today he has no sympathy for another rogue trader.
I never say that it wasn't me. I knew what I was doing. He knew what he was doing. He's not stupid. He works in a bank. He's obviously an intellectual guy. You don't think it's criminal. But as you go through the period, the losses increase, you start to take on more trades. You do reach a stage where you realise what you're doing is criminal. And he knew it was wrong. He knew it was wrong from the first day. He's reached a stage where he knows it's criminal and he's got to pay.
Rusnak has already spoken to FBI investigators, but they're sure to have further questions for the man blamed for one of the biggest scams ever seen in the banking world. Juliet Bremner, ITV News.
I'll be back shortly with the story of why Prince Charles was holidaying in the Lake District bed and breakfast. But first, we have the news from your area.
Good evening. A woman who's been told she has breast cancer faces a wait of at least a month before she can get treatment. Michelle Towers needs surgery to find out if the cancer has spread, but she'll have to wait because of the shortage of specialist staff. Debbie Groves reports.
Doctors told Michelle Towers she had breast cancer more than 3 weeks ago, but it could be another 4 weeks before she gets treatment. Surgeons have to remove the lumps and do a biopsy to see if the cancer has spread, but she has to wait because there isn't a radiologist available at Kettering General Hospital to do the procedure. Michelle, who lives in Wellingborough in Northamptonshire, is already taking drugs for angina.
I'm having to live with this. Oh, I'm very sleepless nights through it. It's just constantly on my mind. It's just there. I just want it out. Well, I just think it's terrible because, as I say, apart from having a heart condition, I'm not supposed to get stressed, and it's just constantly in my mind, 24 hours a day. You know, you can't sleep. You wake up and it's just you can't blot it out your head no matter how much you try. It's just there. And it's just the not known, really.
The hospital blames the lack of specialist staff. It has just one radiologist for breast cancer patients, but is training another.
Over this last few weeks, we've had difficulties whereby we've had about a threefold increase in the requirement for these investigations, and that's been one of the reasons why, unfortunately, there's been a longer delay in this case than we would normally hope for.
Michelle will be going into the same hospital where her mother died of bowel cancer just a few days before Christmas. Even after the operation, she faces another wait of at least 2 weeks for the results of the biopsy to find out if the cancer has spread.
Fire crews have spent the day dampening down following a huge blaze at a warehouse which stores oil for aromatherapy treatment. The blaze ripped through the premises at Essendine village in Rutland early this morning. At its height, villagers were told to stay indoors and close their windows amid fears that toxic fumes would spread. The cause has been investigated. A woman who falsely claimed her friend was raped has been ordered to pay £1,800, a pound for each hour of police time she wasted. Samantha Gashes desperately tried to hide her identity as she arrived at Peterborough Magistrates Court last December. She pleaded guilty to wasting police time after she called them last July, claiming a friend had been raped in this underpass. It's a short distance from an underpass at Paston, where a teenager was knocked unconscious and raped last December. That crime is still unsolved. A mum whose son drowned while he was being looked after by social workers says she still had no explanation from social services. 13-year-old Kane Jowett ran away from his carers and jumped into a boating lake at Skegness after inhaling lighter fuel last September. A coroner criticised social services for not doing more to help him. An internal investigation has been launched, but 3 months on, his mother April claims she's still being kept in the dark. Dairies are warning that doorstep deliveries are coming under increasing threat because of competition from supermarkets. But as Barrett Patel reports, the milkman is fighting back and taking the big stores on.
Doorstep deliveries have been a part of British life for more than 50 years, but supermarkets are now selling milk for almost half the price that dairies charge, and many dairies have gone out of business. But this one on the Derbyshire-Nottinghamshire border at Langley Mill is fighting back by turning into a mobile supermarket. It sells around 500 different products, everything from tea bags to manure.
Well, in recent years we've introduced many products to the doorstep that have proved popular with our customers. For instance, within the next few weeks we will sell over £100,000 worth of tea on a promotion that we're running. And at Christmas recently we sold £500,000 worth of hampers, which were just part of the £4 million worth of products we sold in the 3 months leading up to Christmas.
But dairies are selling less and less milk year after year. And unless the public takes to the new mobile shopping service, more will go bust.
An animal shelter says it's been stretched to breaking point after being inundated with stray or abandoned rabbits. Phil Brewster reports.
There are a lot of rabbits at the RSPCA shelter at Radcliffe-on-Trent in Nottinghamshire. So many, in fact, that they're struggling to house them all. At the moment, there are 19 rabbits, but that number is expected to rise, with another 11 due to come in over the next week. It's left staff at the shelter with a real headache.
We are struggling. This is why we desperately need people to come and offer homes to these bunnies. At the moment we're just about managing, but once we get to the stage of taking any more in, we just are running out of space to keep them ourselves.
Most of the rabbits have come in as strays, having either escaped from their owners or been abandoned after Christmas by people who no longer want them. The RSPCA says it's a shame, as they make good pets and don't take much looking after.
Taking on any pet obviously needs careful consideration first. Having said that, rabbits do make very good pets, and these days a lot of people even keep them in the house and train them with litter trays. So for somebody that is out at work part of the time, a rabbit does make a good alternative to perhaps a cat or a dog.
The shelter says unless new owners come forward soon, then as a final resort they may have to consider putting some of the rabbits down. Meanwhile, they're appealing for anyone who would like one to get in touch and provide them with a loving home.
That's it. Now back to ITN in London.
Hello again. The Prince of Wales has kept the promise he made in the dark days of foot and mouth. He told the owners of a Lake District bed and breakfast that he'd come back and stay when the crisis was over. And now he's done it. ITV News was given special access to film the visit.
Rain before 7, 5 to 11. Yeah. It does work, usually.
Unless you're in Manchester.
Unless you're in Manchester.
When Prince Charles met the Relfs last September and promised to boost their bed and breakfast business by coming to stay, they thought he was being polite. But this week he kept to his word and came back, determined to show that this area of Cumbria, like the rest of the rural economy, is open for business.
And it's very comfortable, and I think they've done a wonderful conversion job on an old house, which is the great thing. And it has a marvellously cosy and special feel, and the food's delicious. And the dear old Herdwicks as roasted lamb are delicious. I felt rather guilty.
On the land in the house.
The Prince booked in for a 2-day walking trip, taking all 3 rooms for himself and his security detail. It did rain, but Yew Tree Farm is at the bottom of one of the most beautiful valleys in the Lake District. The rural economy has suffered greatly since the onset of the foot and mouth crisis and then September the 11th. And the farm's owners were delighted that the Prince had made the trip.
To be bothered to come and support the area is absolutely totally marvellous, because, you know, to take the time out and after, I mean, he's a very busy man, and to come to this area again so soon after he visited in September, I think it's absolutely marvellous of him.
The rural economy has a long way to go to get back to normal. And the purpose of Prince Charles's walking trip here was to encourage people to get back into the habit of visiting the countryside. Tom Bradby, ITV News.
Tonight's headlines again. The Chief Medical Officer says that using separate vaccinations instead of the combined MMR vaccine would be playing Russian roulette with our children's health. And America says that Taliban prisoners will now be treated under the Geneva Convention. And that's tonight's news at 10. From me and from all my colleagues here, goodbye.
Let's watch my favorite part again.
Powergen. Energy for you and your little monsters come rain or shine.
Hello again. Good news, frost-free tonight, temperatures lows of 5. Some rain for a time in the far southeast of Britain with some showers as well, right up there in the far northwest. Come tomorrow, dry and bright. Still going to have a little bit of cloud. The best of the sunshine will be down the east side of Britain. Again, showers in the far northwest, and the next batch of rain will start to push its way in towards the southwest. Now, during the course of the day, that will continue to edge eastwards, so we'll all witness the wind and the rain at some point. Some clear spots, though, further south you are. Temperatures not really faring out too badly at all pretty much into double figures highs of 10, 11 and 12. That's 54 in Fahrenheit. So here is a summary for tomorrow. Don't forget to check out the website itv.com/weather. I'll join you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.
Powergen. Energy for you and your little monsters come rain or shine.
It's showdown time as resort manager Maz confronts her mutinous band of club reps. Next.